and we are here live again on MinkLife Motivation Live. My name is Monica Henderson, and I am your host for the show today. To tap into what's happening on the show today, we are going to be expanding your life and business to be fulfilled. And that is our topic. We've been kind of diving into healthy, wealthy, fulfilled. And so this is kind of ending our series on healthy, wealthy, and fulfilled. To help me craft this conversation with you today, I have my lovely co-host. My first co-host is Andrea Gewirtz. She is the Wellness Thrive Strategist with Wellbeing and Worth. She is also a MinkLife Motivation Master Trainer and the Dean of MinkLife University and University. Andrea!
Hey there, Monica. Yeah, I should change that. University is getting up and running. So thanks for that show. Thank you.
Shout out. So excited. All right. And to also join us today is our other co-host. Her name is Peggy McCartha. She is the owner and photographer of Headshots by Peggy. She's also a headshot strategist and the MinkLife Motivation trainer for the brand builder. Hey, Peggy. Hey.
Uh-oh, muted, Peggy.
I am muted. Good to be here.
So as you can see, my set has changed. I'm back in Los Angeles. And I would normally be there with Peggy, but we are still kind of unpacking and trying to get our lives together as I landed yesterday. But I want to acknowledge our fourth co-host for the day, and that is our audience. You are the fourth co-host. Hey, ladies. So Irina is already chiming in. And just like Irina, we want you to go ahead and just message, just drop a comment, and we will add your commentary to the show as we dive into our topics today. If you're watching this as a playback, put hashtag replay, and we will do our best to comment on your post and kind of feed off of your energy after the fact. So with that, I'd love to get into our topics for today because it is time to get motivated. So the question for the day, as we talk about being fulfilled, is why should we focus our energy on living fulfilled in the first place, right? And I know Andrea feels about why questions, but the reason why we ask why questions is because sometimes people are like, well, that's stupid. I don't even know why I have to pay attention to that. And I want to know, why do you think it's important? So with that, we'll start with Andrea.
Oh, good. I am glad you asked this why question because I'm like, think about the opposite. It's like, why wouldn't you? Like, what else are you going to be doing? If you're not working on living fulfilled, then you're living on the opposite, which is not very attractive and or charming and or, of course, fulfilling because you're focusing on really dark things probably. So the focus, the push, it gets you out of inertia, thinking on how to be fulfilled. What does it take? What can I create? Right. And so I love Miss Curiosity over here. Why? That's exactly why you should focus your energy on living fulfilled. I mean, if you're feeling stuck, get curious and focus on that thing that will change you to a better state. So this is a why question that I am ready to jump in there and go, all right, I got you. I got something for you.
I feel like we need sorry to cut in the voice from God. I feel like we need a pre-recording of you just saying, get curious and play it every time.
Curious. And we should with a funny eyebrow up, of course, aren't you going to get curious?
That's like the new meat. We should be a GIF. Get curious. Get curious. Get curious. Get curious. I think that would be awesome. So Peggy, why should we focus our energy on living fulfilled?
Well, since this is an Andrea approved why, my answer to this why question is,
I think because a lot of times we don't live our life intentionally. A lot of times we just get in like a survival mode, or we get into just, our daily grind, and we don't make any intentions. And so focusing on living fulfilled gets you an intention. And when you have an intention and you're focused, then you can make steps going towards that and having that actually happen. But when you're just like trying to survive and just doing I got this and this and this to do, but you don't have that focus and intention, nothing really gets done.
Yeah.
So one of the things that we do in MinkLife Motivation all the time is we actually define the words. And as I was prepping for Mink Talks, so Mink Talks is something that we do in the Mingle community, or that's coming. They may not be ready for it yet, but I was working on a presentation for Fulfilled specifically. And the definition, when Andrea and I were talking about it, the definition is beautiful and kind of is the reason why you should try to live this way, which is fulfilled is feeling happy and satisfied that you are doing something useful with your life. So that's the Oxford Defined Dictionary. And the reason why it's so important for you to focus your energy on doing that is because why would you want to not be happy with your life and satisfied with your life? Like Andrea was saying. But most of us are kind of walk through life kind of making the next decision that's in front of us, right? Like it's the next decision. I just have to make the next decision and the next decision. And like Peggy said, if you can focus your energy in being intentional about doing things that fulfill you, then life is better.
Yeah, and for anyone listening and you're in a hard spot, or it's like, what do you mean? I'm just trying to do this, and do this, and do this, and do this. We all get into those spaces. We get into those spaces where we go, oh my God, I have so much to do today. And it takes having that vision or that desire for something else to, it's okay. You feel like this minute, but you better get back on track because time's ticking. Are you getting the thing that you said you want? Or, having that underpinning, I guess, I don't know what the next question is going to be, but because I know it's a hard time right now. There's unrest, there's craziness going around in the world. So of course, people are like, you want me to pipe dream and live for, and I am saying, yeah, to give yourself a little fire to get through this next thing, even if it's a vision of, I don't know, seeing your kids go do something. It just needs to be that little spark, that, we say why, or your vision statement. We said all those things, but, deep in your heart, there's something you really want. So like Peggy says, grab it with intention to see through to getting through it and the hard times, because I don't want anyone thinking, oh, these girls are always so peppy.
No, actually, I'm like emotionally like hanging on by a string right now. It's been an interesting, long, hard month. So emotionally, I'm hanging on by a string. But what I will tell you is because I had designed my life to be fulfilling, that is the only reason why I'm not balled up in a corner, like just sobbing right now, because there are so many sparks, right? Like Andrea was saying, there are so many parts and when you align your actions to make sure that you're lining up with fulfillment, even when there's like rough times or they're hard or you're feeling emotional, those sparks can keep you going through that. Like, he's like, well, at least I get to do I get to coach people today and help them out. And, my life sucks right now, but at least I can help someone else out and that'll feel better. Right. We're going through a grieving process. So it's, every day is different. Right. But having those little joyful kind of things built into your life can actually sustain you. I call it the undercurrent of joy, right? Like the surface of the ocean, like, it does its own thing and it ebbs and flows and it's rocky sometimes and then it's calm sometimes. But the undercurrent that goes in the ocean is consistent. It's what all of the animals follow, right? And so if you can create the undercurrent of joy through having your life designed for fulfillment, then no matter how stormy the surface is, you still have that undercurrent of joy to kind of guide your way.
And to pull you along when you don't feel like it.
True story. True freaking story. So, our motivation is always about kind of like why we do stuff and like, why should we? That's why it's always a why question. If you guys were ever curious about why the get motivated is always a why question. But what really kind of keeps us going and helps us stay moving forward is, kind of, you need to stay inspired and stay encouraged. And so the question, I guess, to help us stay encouraged is, how do you define fulfilled for yourself? Like, how do you, Andrea, how do you, Peggy, define fulfilled? Because I think in sharing how you define fulfilled, it may inspire people and keep them encouraged to find their own definition of fulfillment. So Peggy, you want to go first this time?
All right. So I think for me, fulfillment is having a purpose. I like to feel like I have a reason, like that I've made, that I've changed someone's life, that I've made a change in the world. Like, to me, that's, and we've talked about this a lot in the incubator class recently, that I feel like, every statement I write is, my purpose is to empower, encourage, and educate. So I feel like, to me, that's fulfilling, is to be able to help someone else achieve their goals and their dreams. To me, that's a very fulfilling thing, because I feel like I have I've done something important. I have purpose. So I think that's what it is for me.
Yeah. Andrea, what about you?
I'm going to echo what Peggy said. For sure, for me, it's being fulfilled has components of joy and gratitude, right? As you mentioned, like, June was a crazy month. I don't know what was up with June. And so when you're challenged often, and I have coached on this and got a really wonderful testimonial from somebody. Sometimes you go through your programs, you're teaching people, and you're wondering, are they getting it? Are they getting it? But it's nothing more fulfilling to get either a testimony or a comment when you see that student, client, child, parent, spouse say something that comes from them, but that they heard you and it's helping propel them forward. That they're giving you credit for somehow sparking, as you said, their undercurrent of joy and gratitude. And so, like Peggy, it's that it very much is feeling like I have somehow imbued a spark of creativity or a change that really they have personalized and made their own, and they're bringing forth this positivity and joy and outward. They're manifesting it. That's it. They're manifesting that thing, and so I love that, and that is, like you said, Monica. Maybe things are going crazy, but you get into a coaching situation, and your students are like, I finally got this, and you're like, I'm glad I showed up today, because if I hadn't shown up today, I might have missed their revelation. And so I take a lot of joy, and I have a great gratitude that I have the ability to model that for others. And I get to see it, especially in my daughters, when they made us dinner the other day, and it was Cracker Jack delicious. And I just sat there and I was like,
Cracker Jack delicious.
I couldn't believe, the one who never cooks made this elaborate meal of like baked marinated tofu. And I'm a little against tofu, but she wanted to do tofu. So I was like, okay, with this bok choy and this rice. And I was like, my kid did this. And I thought, yeah, because I've done it so many other times. She put her spin on it. The other one made something nobody should have eaten, but it was delicious. She made these gluten-free rolls for her sister. And I just, not that this was a balanced meal in any way, the fact of the matter is they took it upon themselves to do this for me and my husband. And they're like, "Are you crying?" Welled up because it was the first time I sat down to dinner and I had not contributed one thing other than the raw materials. So that was really fulfilling.
Yeah. Yeah. The healthy, wealthy, fulfilled always came out of my own chaos, right? Like my life falling apart and sitting there trying to redesign my life. And the three words that came out of what do I want? The question, what do I freaking want? Right. It boiled down to healthy, wealthy, and fulfilled. And when I had to kind of dive a little deeper into like, well, what actually fulfills me? What I realized is in a lot of ways, I've had little tiny parts of my life be fulfilling at different times, right? And I've had different parts of my brain be stimulated and excited, and the other was like neglected, and then I would like swing to the other side, and the other part of my brain was neglect, like analytical versus creative, and so when I had to kind of define what is fulfilling for me, it was going to have to be something that gave me both. And so now when I choose and when I do anything, I get to use both sides of my brain, the analytical side and also the creative side. And it's not just in business, it's in person, in cooking and, and in caring for my daughter and planning things for my husband. I literally try intentionally to make sure that I'm tapping in to being fully fulfilled. And fully in the moment of what it is. And so for me, being able to be creative and also analytical at the same time is how I define like being fulfilled. It's getting to have all parts of me show up and show out, right? Just all the parts of me show up and show out. So that's how I define fulfilled. As our audience is chiming in, Irina says, when someone unexpectedly quotes you, your words, your ideas, and actually shows agreement with your ideas, that's the feeling. That's a great feeling. And it's right. We quote Irina all the time, which is funny.
She has all the Russian proverbs that are new to us.
And the other day, speaking of, we're going to like totally embarrass you right now, but the other day, we were going through the Business Maximizer class, and we got to a section that I had put the affirmation in. As now, all the affirmations that are in the program were at my affirmations about the program, and it hadn't, so it hadn't come to fruition when I wrote those words, but I just wrote them in the program because that's what I wanted. And so I was like, oh, look at that. That definitely came true. I think the affirmation was, I just want to launch my business into an international market. And I was like, well, if I hadn't done that 5 times over,
So the pandemic is your fault, is what you're saying.
It is. It was designed specifically for my success. But he said, so I'm gonna give her a fulfilling moment right now. So she said, how you name the boat, that's how it will float. And I was like, that's a Post-it moment that like I'm putting that everywhere. It's so great. But it was really kind of tapping into manifestation. Wow. And she's like, yeah, you named it that way. So that's how it floats. And the same thing with the next global virtual conference. When we did the first conference, there was 2 people who were international, and that was just because they were our friends, right? Like it wasn't actually international. And then when we got, when we got some momentum behind it, then it was like mostly international and not really local. And so truer words have never been spoken, Irina. And I hope us requoting you and chiming in live on Facebook about how brilliant you are is hopefully a fulfilling moment for you today.
And I know we've covered this a lot, but can I reiterate something that you said a few minutes ago, Monica?
Sure.
You didn't say these words, but basically you said you shouldn't settle. Like, because we all have like these moments where we're fulfilled here and this is great, but it's lacking here. And I think this was like a revelation that I had about 6 or 7 years ago. I was like, I don't want to settle anymore. Like, I want something that is wonderful in every area. Like, I want a great client that actually pays me and that, is fun to work for. Like the whole thing, not just that was so great, but they didn't pay good, or they paid great, but they were miserable to work with. Like, no, I want the whole package. And that's something that sometimes we think we have to settle for. And women are the worst because we're taught that, well, just appreciate what you have. No, don't settle. Go for it. We all, whether you're man, woman, non-binary, whatever you identify as, you deserve everything. So don't settle. Just allow fulfillment with intention in every area.
I would say it's an and. I think be appreciative of everything you have and don't settle.
Exactly.
Don't settle for anything. It's definitely an and, because that's how you get more. Irina is saying that she's feeling fulfilled, and she's also saying, preach, Peggy, preach. But it's so true. The and part, right? Like, appreciate everything you have. They're not wrong in telling you that. But it does not stop there. You should always strive for. We had a really it wasn't crappy. It was just below our standards rental car, and we were in it for 6 hours driving. And I was like, well, if I ever buy a car, that definitely won't be the car. And it's not that I wasn't appreciative of the fact that the car got us from point A to point B, but just it didn't fully fulfill all of my expectations and what my needs were as far as full comfort. And I'm definitely at this point in my life where comfort it must be beautiful and comfortable. I don't have time for the discomfort for beauty. And so, I'm appreciative that the car got us from point A to point B, and that we were safe, and that it wasn't horrible to look like, it didn't look like a jalopy or anything, but it was uncomfortable. And so would I continue down the path of getting uncomfortable cars? No, I'm not going to say, well, this is what I can do. But what I will say is that you get the best you can afford, right? The best you can possibly afford in your means. And you just keep working towards what that next level of comfort is going to be. And so that's my soapbox moment about fulfilled. Yeah. So there's that. So obviously, staying fulfilled and like being fulfilled is a part of probably what we all want, but haven't necessarily gotten a chance to really experience, or maybe we have had some experiences that didn't lend us that way. So we want to keep networking a bit. And when we talk about networking in MinkLife Motivation, it is all about asking for help and including other people in the process of your development. And so as we keep networking, the question is, who can help you live a fulfilled life? Like, who can we ask for help in this? I stumped him, guys.
No, you froze. I was like, is there another part to the question?
Oh, I froze. I'm sorry.
And then I heard I stumped them. Who can help you live a fulfilled life? I think this is going to sound kind of Zen Buddhist. I really believe that when we interact with people and we are present, we are living a fulfilled life, if that makes any sense to anyone listening. Because we can be present and we can be physically in a place and think we're in a group of people, enjoying them and everything like that, but we're not really tuned in because our mind is racing someplace else. We're missing out on that moment of connection and community and learning from the other, and vice versa, them learning from you, somehow imparting knowledge. Like Arena said, when someone hears you and you hear them repeat you, you've been heard. And so who can help me live a full life is really I'm responsible for me living a full life is truly, I think, what I'm saying. And the way that I will get that back as a reflection is when I sit and I'm fully present with the people that I am engaging with or asking the question of. Because you talked about, yes, we're in a community where we must ask. We love to encourage people to speak out and ask for help so that you can get that mix of ideas and that feedback. I think feedback is so important, and we've all, in many ways, talked about that feedback as what really sustains us to keep us going. So being present, me personally, being present affords me the gift of that fulfillment because I have given myself so that I could receive somebody else. So that's my fulfillment question.
Yeah. So if that doesn't directly align to the principal's program, I don't know what does. So if you've ever been to a conference, you'll know that we have 2 days of fun, right? We have the Your Self Day, which is the first day, and then we have the World Day, which is the second day. And those relationships, right, really do round out all the things. So I definitely feel like that does help quite a bit, that reflection of people, for sure. Peggy, what about you?
I 100% agree with Andrea. You're responsible for your own fulfillment. I'm responsible for my own happiness, for my own fulfillment, for my, all of those things. However, I want to add to what she said. And that is, I love that she said being present when you're asking of others, but I think it's being present when you're giving to others as well. A lot of times you can find your fulfillment when you're helping other people and you're actually giving and teaching and caring for. Sometimes that brings the most revelation. I always learn more when I'm helping someone solve their problems. And I always feel, to me, that's a sense of fulfillment as well as, and a sense of growth. So I think exactly what she said, and
No, I hope you didn't hear me exclude it, because for sure. No,
yeah,
I mean,
I just want to reemphasize that sometimes you get your fulfillment more for giving than asking, because I know the question is who can help us, and who can we ask for help? And you know me and my questions. I love, like, if you're stumped, ask the question out loud. Who can help me get through this? Who do I need to find? Who do I need to ask? Who do I need to help? I'm, me, ask that question.
That's why I love you.
Well,
it's really close to you're curious, right? We're like side by side.
Oh, we're totally side by side. You're like, because you're just living it out loud. You're asking. You're like, I'm just really curious about how's this going to happen. It's the same. It is very analogous.
Mm-hmm. I really, so I do think you both kind of tapped into something a bit deeper, which is the balancing of the asking and receiving, and being asked and giving, right? There's so many relationships that we have, right, where we are the person who gives and gives and gives and gives, and oh wait, let me give some more. And at the end of the day, there's sleep. I told my husband that I would actually say that, because that phrase, at the end of the day, there's sleep. But when it's all said and done, if you don't have that reciprocal of people being there for you when you need them, then am I frozen to everyone still?
Yeah, but we can hear you.
We can hear you.
Okay. Well, as long as you can hear me. But if you, if you are creating, in this case, a balance of giving and receiving help, right? Being able to give to others, but then also being the recipient of giving. I think that's when you really do find the fulfillment. And I know Peggy can attest to that, as she has always been a giver, always been a giver. And it wasn't until was surrounded by people who were like pouring into her that she was like, oh,
Yeah, I was going to say that actually. Like you have taught me that balance, and it is a balance, and it was a really hard lesson to learn that like you can't just keep giving. Like you have to be able to ask for help, and even harder, receive the help. So it's all about balance. Absolutely.
Yeah. It requires both, and even, I mean, even when we kind of dive a little deeper when we're teaching people how to teach our program, we talk about everything's a counterbalance, right? So like when you are focused on yourself, the counterbalance to that is your romantic partnerships and how they play on each other, right? How they feed into one another in order for you to have like a yin and yang, or a balance. Or when you're looking at your lifestyle, there's a counterbalance of nurturing, right? Like you create a space, a lifestyle, an existence to do that with people, and you have people who need you to create that, right? So there's this counterbalance of giving and taking. And the same thing with your career and your tribe, right? Like they have a counterbalance to them. And so when you can really open your mind to the fact that it's not just what I can give the world, but also how I can lovingly receive what the world has to offer me as well, then you're really tapping into that juicy gushiness of fulfillment that no one teaches you about until you're like way older in life. And I mean, can you imagine if we would have had this conversation about like truly being fulfilled as like elementary school kids and what that looks like, right? As middle school kids, what does fulfillment feel like? What your job is as a human is to live in fulfillment. And so imagine what world we would be in if this is what we taught our kids early.
Indeed. No, I think there are cultures that do a better job of that. And by and large, those cultures, the people as young adults and people are motivated to continue with that. So you are very right. And it takes a lot of work in our American ones. We don't have any Canadians here. I think, inculcate that in our kids, because I don't think that's a very American thing.
I think an American thing is to work 70 or 80 hours a week and never take a vacation, because if you do, you're lazy. And that's a really, it's great to have a good work ethic, but at what sacrifice? And I think I think this whole fulfillment is really about balance.
Yeah.
Fulfillment, really, I think we could boil fulfillment down to balance.
Yeah. I was just thinking that that phrase, neither borrower or lender be, right? I think that actually has, like when we were talking, I was like, wait, that might actually have a deeper meaning. You don't want to be the borrower because you're the person who's taking all the time. Right. And you don't want to be the lender because you're the one who's always giving. You should be neither. You should actually be both.
Yeah.
And so, wow, just whole rabbit. Sorry. Squirrel. I mean, at least it's in the conversation, but that was just interesting. They do have some deeper meanings to some of these meanings. So,
yeah, when we started the show, balance wasn't where I was thinking, but it's totally come out that hasn't it? It's really like, oh, I think fulfillment is balance. I think that I want to re-answer my first question. It's balance.
Yes. All right. So as we tap into our the last question of the day, we want you to gain some knowledge. And so, of course, in gaining knowledge, it is time for us to give one tip to expanding your life and business to live fulfilled. So what is your one tip to expand your life and business to live fulfilled?
Peggy, you go ahead because
I will, because I'm ready. I'm ready for this. My one tip is to live your life intentionally. Don't just get in that survival. Oh my God, I've got to do this. I got to, but like sit down. The thing that has helped me, and I've been doing this for a few months now, is every single night before I go to bed, I write down 3 things that I need to accomplish the next day. Now, anybody that knows anything about my life can imagine that I probably have more than 3 things on my to-do list any given day. However, when I intentionally write the 3 things that I will do tomorrow, no matter what, I tend to get like 15 things done. The second that I forget or just say, oh, I don't need to do it tonight, that next day I am unproductive and nothing gets done. So when you live with intention, my intention is I'm going to accomplish these 3 things no matter what. And in that intention, I get tons of things done. And the same way with if you're living your fulfillment, your happiness, your life, do it with intention. Make a purpose that every single day you will live fulfilled, and this will happen. And make decisions intentionally based on that goal.
Oh yeah, good job, Peggy. All right, you're up. What's your
well, Peggy, I thought you were going to take the word balance and go someplace. So, I'm going to take that word. So, balance with intention or intention with balance. I think it was beautiful what you said. I really think that whole how would you live fulfilled in your life and in your business is to, with intention, balance the two of them. I think as entrepreneurs in particular, we are very prone to work, and just feel spent at the end of the day and collapse, hopefully not too badly, into sofa, the bed, and like just think about what am I going to do the next day. Like Peggy, I do set my intention the night before for the next day so that I can wake up with the goal in mind or the objectives for the day in mind so that I go to bed satisfied and feeling like, oh, I had a good day today. I did all the things that I needed to do for that balance in my life. So you're in the MinkLife world. You're going to hear us say this all the time. If you write it down, you get it done. And having that plate outlined so beautifully, I like plates, food, and my to-do list so that, I can feel fulfilled at the end of the day. And when I wake up, powered to do that day's work of living, fulfilled. So that's what I got.
All right. And my one tip is simplify. A lot of times we feel like we have so much stuff to do because we have overcomplicated everything. Everything has been overcomplicated. But if you remember that quality is always better than quantity, always, in every single scenario, quality is always better than quantity, then you can simplify, pare down, and alleviate things that are creating extra chaos, anxiety, muck, extra tasks that aren't directly aligned to your attention, extra people who aren't directly aligned with the lifestyle you want to live, extra items that you have to clean and manage and organize because they're just there to, collect dust, right? If you can simplify, pare back, keep it simple, and focus on the quality over the quantity, then it will make your life way more fulfilling. Because what my daughter learned very young that I think the rest of us need to learn is it's the time that we want, not the stuff. And so if you can simplify all of the things, then you can actually get more time to enjoy all the stuff. So that's my one tip. We have a tip from our fourth co-host. This time is Irina from the from the chats, and she said, "How do you eat an elephant? In small bites." Exactly. So with that, we have gotten to the point where it's time for announcements. And so I know we have quite a bit of announcements happening in our community as we have been busy, busy, busy. So we will start with Andrea. Andrea, what is your announcement for today?
The Weight Loss the Right Way Facebook group, Being in a Well Body, is open. So if you see it, knock on the door. I'd love to have you in there. If you do a search, if you're looking for sanity in that, I'm going to say this word and really mean it from the bottom of my heart, the morass known as weight loss. The people on this screen right now know that I am like, that word drives me crazy. But if you would like to be on the road to wellness and being in a well body, and it is spurred by your desire for weight release and weight management, then I have a place for you. And it's called that group, the Weight Loss the Right Way Facebook group, Being in a Well Body. So knock on the door, Google it, search it. We are looking for happy people who want to talk about and decode and descript and really figure out the right way for them to be in that well body. I would love to have you in that space. So see you inside.
Awesome. Peggy.
I am getting ready to start teaching the brand builder and the MinkLife University. So I'm excited about that. It's on the schedule. And of course, I'm still doing the Headshot Strategist program. And this has been a really, really fun adventure. Really taking people to understand the power that they have in their headshot, their profile picture, their first impression, and really watching the light bulbs pop on with that. And of course, I'm still in my studio taking headshots as well. So you can find out everything about me at headshotsbypeggy.com.
All right. And in the MinkLife universe, we have so much going on. But one of the things that we have been doing, my announcement comes with a story. So about 6 weeks ago, I challenged the MinkLife Motivation trainers to do an incubator with me. And in this incubator, they would spend 4 hours a day and we would focus on their life, business, branding, and networking. And it's a work session. Now, all of them said, "What? You want me to do what? 4 hours? Where am I going to find 4 hours to be on Zoom with you every single day?" And mind you, this is 6 days a week. And 6 weeks later, they are still in my Zoom room. As a matter of fact, there are some of them in my Zoom room as we speak right now. During the incubator, they got so much more done that at the end of those 4 hours, then they had just kind of working on their own. So some of you may have been asking, well, what is this incubator? And the incubator really is designed for you to actually work through all 24 parts of your life, business, branding, and networking. And we do it in small bites, like Irina said. We take the elephant and we just nibble on it until it's all gone. But every single week, you get an opportunity to touch every part of your life and business and get those things on your to-do list to done, as Tammy Ward would say. It's to done. So if you are an entrepreneur and you are struggling with staying on task, if you're struggling with getting the things to done, and you feel kind of alone and like you're like, I don't know where to help, we are offering the incubator not only to our licensees and our trainers and our strategic partners, but we are now opening the doors and welcoming you in. I always have all these videos of me doing this, but opening the doors and offering you an opportunity to be a part of the incubator. It's just like a gym membership. The more you use it, the more it works. If you don't use it, you lose it, and it's okay. But we are offering this for $49 a month. So you can actually have built-in masterminding, built-in actual coaching, because I am there poking people along, prodding people along their projects. You have the accountability structure with all of your colleagues who are working in the space. And you get so much done in the 4 hours that it's addictive. And Peggy wakes up every day at 6 and she doesn't even like being an early bird, but now It's a thing for her.
Peggy wakes up long before 6 to be on Zoom at 6, just so you know.
There's that.
I like the to done. I think that needs to be another little button.
I liked that. I liked that.
Fun. Thank you, Tammy Ward of PLW Yoga, for that quote. Hopefully that gives her a moment of fulfillment as well. So that's what's happening in the MinkLife community. The one last announcement I have is a little bit of a sad one, but every business has been affected by COVID in this past year, and mine, it's finally knocked on my door and hit us home. And so because of several members of our team coming down with COVID, and we cannot give you the experience that we would love to give you for the next global virtual conference, the conference dates that we had originally for this quarter have now been postponed to the fourth quarter. So if you're still interested in doing the conference or being a speaker, you can still do that. We're just doing them in October and November instead of right now, so that we can give space for our team to heal and get right, and really take it to the next level. I'm sad because I was hoping to see you guys and, having this crazy summer camp, love fest, Woodstock moment with all my other business owners. But it's really the best choice to give you the highest possible quality of program. And I could not do it without my backbone, Leanne McKenzie of Lee Chris Virtual Assistants, and she's been heavily affected by COVID, in her town and the social unrest that's happening in South Africa. And I was just not going to do it without her because I love her and she's the best. And you got to stick with the best. And if the best isn't ready, like Peggy says, do not settle. So with that, we will be postponing, and the updates are happening currently on the website. So if you're interested in being a speaker or grabbing a pass, you can do that, but those will be rolled over to the fourth quarter. So that's my announcements. Is there anything else we need to share? If there's not anything else we need to share, then it's my favorite slide time. It is the credits, baby. So I would love to thank the voice in the sky, Alana, for being so amazing and really kind of helping us get our lives together on this live show every single week. I would also like to thank my co-hosts, Peggy and Andrea, for being crazy enough to do this with me on a regular basis. And I would also like to let you know and remind you all that you have the power to activate the vision within. We love you so much, and we want you to be a part of our community, and this is why we're here. So we'll see you all next week, same time, same station. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.